Welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is a communication strategist, no other than Mr. CJ Powers.
How are you doing today, Daniel?
I'm fabulous, fabulous, Mr. CJ. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Yeah, I've been a part of communication since I can remember. At the early age of 11 months old, I was in my first film. But since then, I've, of course, been doing consulting work for corporations and small businesses, entrepreneurs, and helping them to really understand the difference between do they need automation or do they need AI or do they need AI agents and so on. Learning how to communicate, connect, and collaborate with AI this day and age is an important factor.
Mr. CJ Powers, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And today, let's talk about how to be the human AI can't replace. Beyond creativity and empathy, what are the most un- underappreciated human qualities that AI fundamentally cannot replicate?
Well, first, let me say, and I don't know if are you going to be able to put my screen up for me large?
Sure.
Okay, fantastic. So first, I want to start out by talking about people's fears. When they talk about AI, they're like, "Oh no, it's going all over the place. It's going to take over the world." We've seen lots of movies that have done that. But what I like to tell people is that AI is like a car, and you have a choice to either drive it or be pulled along behind it. And it's your choice. You get to pick which one is which. Now, for me, I want to be the driver. And to drive it, there's the three key things that we need to know about, as I briefly mentioned in the introduction. We need to understand communication, not only what we want to communicate, but also what we need to communicate with AI. We need to be able to have a connection with our audience or the fan base or the employees or whoever we're speaking to. And we also need a connection with AI so that we can create our materials faster, better, and so on. And then we need to figure out how to collaborate properly with our audience. And again, on the AI side, how do we collaborate in a way where it's productive and you're not just getting frustrated on a regular basis? So, those are really the key high level components. And if you want, I can go into some of them in more detail, but that covers the high level of it.
Beyond creativity and something else, in the world of AI, it can simulate conversation and even compassion. How do you define authentic connection and why does it matter on how than ever?
Yeah. Well, with connection in this day and age, people want authenticity, right? One of the biggest overused words in our vocabulary these days. What we're really saying is that I need to be me and do me in front of you, and you need to be you and do you in front of me. And somehow we need to find a connection between us. When we look for that connection, there's several things that we can do to really bring that about within our process. In fact, I have a little symbol here that talks about engage, relate, and build. And the key really is that if I can find a way to engage you, and most likely it's going to be so that it draws information out from you. You see, everybody's unique, and within each person is what I call a treasure. So, if you dig deep inside that person to see what really makes them shine, what makes them special and unique, that thing, whatever it is, if you can find a way to connect to that, you're going to have a wonderful connection that can then move into collaboration so you can get things done together. But you have to be able to engage them first. Then you have to find some relationship to that uniqueness. And then at that point, you need to start building your relationship based on what you found and discovered. And you'll find that as you do that, the person you're working with or talking to really just starts to shine because they know that you're not judging them and they know that you're truly interested in who they are. And to me, that is really the key.
The key of success. And there's a lot of fear about AI replacing jobs. But what are the specific roles or tasks where do you believe a human will remain not just preferred, but essential?
Yeah, that's a really important factor. When we look at AI, everyone knows it's really, really smart. But do we know the whole story? Because AI is only as smart as someone had programmed it to be. So if it has bad facts or just bad data, everything it comes up with is going to be skewed and bad. So can AI afford to get rid of the humans? No, it can't. We need to be able to know the right questions to be asking. If you're running a business, you have to be able to ask yourself, what am I trying to do? What is my goal this year? What is my goal this quarter? What steps can we take, action steps to make sure it happens? What tools can we use and view AI just as a tool because it's nothing more than a fast tool and make determinations on what exactly it is you want to accomplish. There's so many companies in the last 2 decades that have lost sight of their customers and they just create whatever they want to create and they shove it out toward their customers, figuring the customers will buy it because it's out there. Well, no, customers actually want problems solved. So if you want to stay in a position or improve your position with AI and become something more than you are, you want to make sure that you're always looking at the customer as a person you're trying to solve a problem for. And it's got to be their problem, not one that you think they need fixed, because, oh my gosh, I can't begin to tell you how long it takes to convince them that they have a problem that they don't know about. So you only want to fix the ones that they're aware of. And not only do you want to fix it, you want to go above and beyond the call of duty to do it with the best intention you can, with the greatest amount of focus. And as you're paying attention to that unique relationship with your customer, you are not going to ever be fired because that relationship building is far more important. Communication is super important, and how you work together is super important. Those three things will outlast any AI, and AI only is a tool when you're focused on those three things. So that's the communication, the connection, and the collaboration.
Mr. JJ, how does our inherent human capacity for fallibility, vulnerability, and learning from failure actually becomes a strategic advantage of a perfect error-free AI?
Well, that's a great question. In this day and age, as I mentioned earlier, people are really interested in authenticity. But what they really are saying is that we want you to be genuine. We want you to be truly you. The people that appear perfect all the time, nobody wants to talk to them. Nobody wants solutions from them. They want people that are vulnerable, that look human, that act normal, and AI cannot do that. Now, AI can look at a history of things. It can say, okay, I'm supposed to be empathetical to this person. And according to all this data I have, empathy could look like this. And then it will try and mimic it. But it's only mimicking it, and it might totally miss the point of the given conversation. You have to remember that when we communicate face to face, it's the highest form of communication. When we talk over the phone, it's the next highest form. When we text, it is so far down that you can just type a word and can be totally misinterpreted. And then you have to figure out what went wrong in the conversation. So we always want to do it in a way where we're as human as possible in our interactions. AI can't do that. So there's safety in the fact that you can never be replaced if indeed you're being human, fully human. I I know I got a little bit off track on your question there. Was that close enough, or did you want me to cover something more?
No, very well said, Mr. CJ. Truly, truly empowering indeed. On cultivating our human edge, if AI handle efficiency and information retrieval, what does productivity mean for humans in the future? Is it more about depth than speed?
The the future is always going to be about relationship and speed. We're all about efficiencies and productivity. We've heard that for a long time. We came out of, you know, the 3 or 4 generations ago, the people building America at that time were so much into processes and efficiencies and speed and how can we do this so that anyone can be replaced easily, just like a machine, a well-oiled machine. Well, what's happening today is that people would rather have a quality solution than a fast solution. People would rather have something that touches their human element than something that is just cold and gets the job done. So we aren't even at the point where we're looking at efficiencies as being necessary. Now, to make a profit, you do want to be efficient. Don't get me wrong. But the fact is, the end user wants a great experience more than anything else. They want to be treated uniquely so that they can know that they are okay being who they are. And they want solutions that fit those two things. And that's the future. AI cannot come up with those things. I'll give you a quick little thing, a story. I was working with some screenwriters and we're working on a movie together. And we started wondering, wonder if AI could be a part of this and help us out or not, because we're thinking we could do it a little faster that way. But as we dove into it, we noticed that one of the things about any good American movie is that there's a twist in the plot. And AI can understand a given scene and what to help build for it, but it can never figure out a twist in the plot because it cannot think the way humans think. It can only think based on looking at the old data it has and regurgitate it in a new way. To come up with a twist in the plot, you actually have to be able to think from a totally different perspective at the, you know, on the dime, so to speak, as this plot needs to shift, you have to be able to shift your perspective instantly to come up with a twist. And AI literally can't do that. AI cannot come up with wisdom. It has lots of knowledge it can pull from, but it cannot create wisdom. It can't even create original creativity. It can only replicate what's been done in the past and make some merging possibilities out of it. It can't come up with something out of the blue. It's just not possible. So, any of those core human elements where we can actually create and we can actually call upon our experience and our wisdom, AI can't do that. So there again, going back to what we were saying earlier, you can't be fired if you're functioning in those fashions, in that manner.
Mr. CJ, in the context of AI generated art and music, what gives human created art its enduring value and resonance?
Okay. So
Hmm.
this one might surprise you.
Hmm.
The If you look at something and you call it art, you're calling it art because it has a certain warmth to it, a certain creative approach to it, and more important than anything else, it has one other thing to it, and that's a mistake. It has error. It has something from the human condition messing it up. Never, ever have we created art that has been, quote, perfect. It's the human touch and the the unique differences and styles that make it art. So AI keeps on trying to do everything perfect. As a result, it can never come up with true art. And as if you are a connoisseur of art and you're looking at different kinds of art over and over and over, I have yet to meet someone in that category that can't say, oh, that's AI, that's a person. It's that clear and different. To come up with a creative thing that is fully human, you have to be human. You can't fake it. Again, AI can, regurgitate old information and reposition it and things like that. Its iterations are limited. And once it starts making mistakes on purpose to try and be artistic, it goes down the drain very rapidly because while our mistakes improve our art, its mistakes destroy it. So it's an interesting combination.
Truly, truly authentic because of our mistakes. For sure. And what daily practices can someone adopt to become more human and less like a machine in their own work and life?
Well, I think that in this day and age, we have to be able to practice with AI, but we need to practice from the standpoint of what is it that we want? What is it that we're trying to accomplish? And do we know how to communicate it clearly? Typically, when we want to communicate, we want to do it so that we clarify our very specific message. We simplify it because for AI and for audiences too, if you can speak at the sixth grade level, AI can understand you. But the more complex you speak and the more acronyms you use and so on, you can confuse AI. AI can take single instructions very easily, but if you give it a whole bunch of instructions, it gets really confused fast. So you want to clarify, then simplify, and then amplify whatever it is that's on your heart. That purpose, that passion, whatever is deep within you needs to be able to come out. And whether you're sharing it directly with your audience or through AI to create something to share with the audience, in all cases, that heartfelt stuff has to come out. Otherwise, it's not going to hold up to the needs of the people in the near future.
Very well said, Mr. CJ. Empowering, empowering indeed. So, as a communication strategist, what are your short term and long term goals?
Well, goals from the standpoint of helping my clients, I want to help them with the three C's that I talk about because it works so well. And that's the fact that I want to help them with their communication, connection, and collaboration using AI. Uh, I also have a side goal where I want to get more back into entertainment. I used to be in entertainment quite a bit, and I want to start diving back into that. I've written several books. I have a new one coming out sometime soon this fall. I don't have the dates yet, but it's just fun to be able to get back into the arts myself, and that's where my focus is at this point. So with the customers, I'm going to be helping them. Just a quick example, I worked with the laboratory. They had a certain report that had to be done globally, and it went out to about 140 countries. That report took them 14 hours to do. Using AI, I automated it for them, and now it takes them 4 minutes a week to do. So it's a excellent process. They get to have a more accurate report, and they hardly spend any time on it anymore. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Good luck to your goals, Mr. CJ, and looking forward for more success. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna recommend Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara. Uh, it's an incredible book. He really makes three key points that I would want to share today because it fits in with what we're talking about. You have to be present with whatever group of people you're with. You have to be so present that you're listening well. and understanding what it is that they need so you can fulfill a problem they might be having. Then you got to take your job seriously. Some people think, oh, AI will do it. I don't have to work on it. But yeah, you do. You have to know exactly how to use AI. You need to know how to do your job to the point where there's no one that can compare to your work. And then you need to treat people as being unique. That's that human factor again. When we treat somebody like they're unique or special or they're a treasure, what happens is that they connect with us, we're able to collaborate with them. And the end result means that regardless of what happens with AI in the future, your company always will want you to be around because of what you do for them. So I think the book fits in quite well. In his case, his examples in his stories are all about trying to get the Michelin star for a high-class restaurant that he starts. But what I pull out of it are the things that allow me to develop relationships with business people, as well as taking it to that next step where I can also use those same techniques to improve AI skills.
Thank you for that recommended book, Mr. CJ. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
I think the number one thing you have to do is start playing with AI and just having a good time with it, finding out what it can do. A lot of people don't realize even 1% of what AI can do for us. I was giving a talk the other day and I pulled out my phone and I put it next to the microphone and started having a conversation and had my phone introduce me for the speech because I had AI on my phone. Now, it was a unique one. I created my own AI and I called him Spock. So it was a lot of fun. And people were like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you could do that with AI. There are so many things that people don't know. Uh, if there's anything that you do 3 times in a row the exact same way, it needs to be replaced by AI. And when you start replacing a lot of repetitive things that you do with AI, you get to the point where you have so much more free time that you can focus on what really matters in your business or in your relationships, and you can really develop them to the extent that will make you not only thrilled to be a part of things, but everyone will be attracted to you like a magnet, and you'll be able to help more people.
Yes, definitely. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, Mr. CJ, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in third season, and my baby podcast Low 101 and Mental Health 101 Love Letters in fourth season, and my movie 101 review and music 101 is in fourth season as well, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcasts. Mr. CJ, ultimately, if AI can mimic many human outputs, what is the core of your argument for why a human being can never be fully replaced?
Well, the thing that makes us irreplaceably human is the thing that creates the art within us, the value within us, and the purpose within us. So if we focus on what I'll say is our artistic side or our spiritual side or our relational side, and we strengthen all those areas, you're not going to be able to be easily replaced because AI can't be a part of any of that.
Mr. CJ Powers, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Uh, the easiest thing to do is to follow me on my blog post, cjpowersonline.com. And if you do that, you should be able to find out about all the different things I'm involved in.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. CJ Powers, because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering advocacy to come, more and more empowering AI innovation to come. So, Mr. CJ, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
More to come, people. See you soon.